What does 420 have to do with Hitler?
Smoke.
Smoking a blunt with my boy Hitler.
Look, he was lighting fires. I think that's the closest we got.
Great.
Do you think there's a contact high for
Rap.
Jewish people?
Rolling a blunt with the pages out of the Library of Alexandria.
Excuse me? What do you mean a contact? I don't... Okay. I don't even know what that's meant to mean, but alright.
No, I assume there are some fumes.
What in the actual fuck have I just read?
What?
Oh, you read the picture?
No, something else. I don't know if I want to read this.
Well, now you kind of have
pussy.
to.
Okay. People with foot fetishes are buying silicone feet with built-in vaginas.
That's not how that... Okay.
No, it's that. Yeah, that was my first thought.
Rena,
It's like,
you obviously... I know you're new to this whole scene. Fetishes don't generally make sense.
that is
No.
a fair point.
But, like, you don't... That's not...
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, like,
I
what is a furry?
Apparently, there were...
Furries can't decide.
Apparently, there were very extreme furries, I guess. Kind of giving other furries that were at my work the other day when I wasn't there.
Oh no.
And they were like dressed top to bottom, and apparently were following these two little kids around that they didn't know all over the outlet. And eventually the little girls walked into, I think it was Tea Kettle, and told the lady, "These people in costumes are following us." And the lady did see that these furries were looking in at the kids.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
First of all, fursuits are weird. Second of all, that's not okay. Third of all, burn them.
No. It also makes
Those are a couple of furries that I do not want in hell with me when I die.
Yeah. Like, it makes me mad because I feel like I'm not a furry, but if I was a furry, I would be very offended and be like, "You're giving. This is why we can't have nice things."
That's how all kinks start.
Yeah, it's just like the conversion. You're condemned. You have at least two furry friends.
One of us. One of us.
I forgot that both of you were furries.
No,
that's. I'm assuming by now at this point in life, Marina, you've realized every single group, no matter what they are, what they do or believe, there are always going to be weirdos in the mix. Somewhere in the mix. Doesn't matter if you're fucking train enthusiasts. There are going to be people who take it
There's going to be a dude who wants to fucking train.
Yep, exactly.
Yep.
Question.
Yeah.
Do you think the pedophile groups have weirdos in them?
What would be weirder than being a pedophile?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. In a group of pedophiles, is there someone that they call the weird one?
Well, so the first thing that comes to my mind on this subject is the opposite, which I know there are the people who try to be like, it's only a fantasy, I would never actually do it. So I guess for them, they would think the one, I don't know.
We're trying to logic madness
actually
right
do
now.
it would be weird.
This is how he summoned the Lovecraftian horrors. Don't try to logic madness.
To answer your question, John, yes, I am assuming there are people in the, I don't even want to say community.
I would.
Man, if there was a pedophile community, it'd be so easy to catch these motherfuckers. Sorry,
I mean,
daughter.
there are, and they have
Let me
been,
reiterate.
like, they've been found pretty, like, oh yeah, 'cause fucking that happened a while back. There was, I've already forgotten the term, but pedophiles tried to rebrand themselves.
Clover gender, was it?
No, Clover gender was bullshit, and I've told you all this multiple times.
I know it was
Never
bullshit.
heard the phrase clover gender.
It's stupid.
It was. I
It's
can't remember.
fucking stupid.
I can't remember which ones it was anymore, but it was fucking Martin Shkreli and some right-wing politician decided as a joke they were gonna release like a bunch of social media posts advertising the new gender, which is like, or the new sexuality, which is like adult to child.
Oh my god.
And they were releasing like posts trying to convince people that the LGBT community had welcomed them, and it was just a clusterfuck. But no, there was actually something where pedophiles were trying to rebrand themselves. I can't remember what they were calling themselves. But it was an acronym of some kind.
You know, going back to the question,
I feel like that made it real easy to get them arrested.
I would love
yeah, it did.
I would love to imagine that, like, there's a bunch of pedophiles hanging out, right? And then Bob comes in.
A bunch of pedophiles walk into a bar. They all get fucking killed.
No, I was gonna say they all walk out because everyone in the building is of legal drinking age. I'm not wrong!
Michael, that was beautiful.
That was gorgeous.
That's the anti-joke version. It's just like, yeah, they all leave because everyone is.
Michael, I'm gonna share that joke now.
Please don't.
But going
Well,
back
I mean,
to the...
do, but not like social media.
But like going back to the question, I just would love to imagine a bunch of pedophiles are hanging out, and one guy just starts eating a cheese stick, and like the rest of them are like, "Oh my god, he's
Is
so."
that slang for little white boy dick?
Please no. Actually, no.
I would love to imagine they just rat on each other for doing like the most normal things, and being weird because they're being normal.
See, Miranda,
actually,
here's my problem with that statement. And I'm going to use Hitler as an example. Now, hear me out. I'm going somewhere with this. You're saying it as if they don't have the capacity to participate in normal activities.
Well,
Which is like saying Hitler was incapable of feeling empathy or sorrow.
No, I'm not saying that's what they are. I'm saying I would like to imagine that is what they, like, rat on each other for. Not that that's actually what it is, but in a funny fictional scenario, they just turn to each other and go, "Oh my god, Bob's eating the cheese stick."
No, I actually, just before we actually start this session, because god damn it, I have limited time, but I actually figured out what would probably be the weird people in the community, pedophiles. Grown adults who just act out the fetish with each other. Like schoolgirl fetishes and shit. Like, they would be the weird ones in the community.
So you mean porn?
Yes. Exactly.
Got it.
So wait, Michael, what time do you have to leave?
Probably around like 9.
Okay. I still have not heard from my parents as to what time we are painting eggs.
Okay.
Which is annoying, but
They'll just probably show up.
they'll probably text me and be like, "Here."
Yeah, exactly.
They're gonna show up, not give you any warning.
We're kicking down the
be
back
like,
door.
Hey, bitch.
Honestly, I thought this year they wouldn't, like... I don't know why I thought this. I thought we wouldn't be doing Easter egg coloring because Bella's 14 now, but then I remembered my brother...
Yes.
How could you forget your brother?
I'm sorry.
Rita, that's awful.
Yeah, what a bitch.
Started too much crack.
Is that what gave you
Jeez,
autism?
Marina. No, I'm saying Marina's been snorting too much crack. And...
Sure.
Yep. Crack addiction. We need to stage an intervention. Marina's crack addiction has gotten out of hand.
So now that we're 10 minutes into the recording.
Yep.
Okay. We should start, huh?
Yeah, probably. Maybe, who knows?
Oh, boy.
So where did we leave off?
We're all lost in the woods.
Oh, yeah.
No, not all of you.
George only just started walking toward the woods. He can still turn back, and he very well might. Because he's probably going to stop and think, wait. No. We've already been ambushed once.
So, last time, the
On Dragon
party
Ball Z.
began separated
Mm.
as Lucas was testing his rad powers, and Nancy was with him the whole time, chastising and berating a poor innocent scientist.
Uh-huh.
Oh my god.
She was fine. She did nothing wrong.
She did a lot wrong.
You are accosting a poor woman. George,
Sorry, she makes 10,000 caps a day.
she gets a higher pay wage.
Yep.
George was on the defense of the wall
Mm-hmm.
while there was a rad storm,
Mhm.
because all of the squishy organics can't really be outside during a rad storm.
God, you squishies are so weak and pathetic.
You meat sacks are just, oof, too much meat on your
Fucking
bones.
garbage.
So you let George calling people meat sacks that I just love.
How you doing there, meat sack?
Her name is Dylan.
Did I say you could speak?
So, as he was on the defense of the wall, a super mutant behemoth attacked.
Mm-hmm. George shot it twice in the privates and then in both eyes.
Uh-huh. And after mutilating this super mutant behemoth, after it was killed, George ripped its face off,
Yeah.
or as he calls it, performed an autopsy,
Mm-hmm.
to reveal that it has a completely metallic skull.
And no brain.
No brain. After that, George saw, well, not after, but during the fight with the super mutant behemoth, George saw that there were other super mutants that were cloaked during the fight,
Mm-hmm.
uncloaked to try and seemingly assist the behemoth in breaking down the wall, but
Didn't
after it
work.
fell, they ran away. And George,
Like bitches.
Mm.
seeing that they were fleeing, sent word for the scientists and Lucas and Nancy, mainly the scientists.
Mm.
Lucas and Nancy were kind of a byproduct of that one.
Yeah. Oh, there you are.
Oh, hey! How are you? Did you have a nice time inside? I was fighting Behemoth.
Mm-hmm. Not that one.
And Lucas, after coming outside and surveying the situation, tells James to send a search party into the woods and heads off to try and follow where these cloaked figures went.
I am also
Yes,
following
follow
them.
the invisible people in the tree cover. That'll go for
He found that he was able to follow their footsteps for a little bit into the woods until they disappeared at a tree,
Mm-hmm.
seemingly climbing said trees to escape.
Yes.
Mhm.
In the meantime, George was defending the super mutant behemoth corpse so as nothing will take it or tamper with it while the scientists are coming.
Mhm.
And Nancy, in her everlasting wisdom, decided to follow after the search party well after they were in the woods. Then after getting lost, climbed a tree to reorient herself, and then went the opposite way of the Arcwing.
Now let's not leave out one little detail. She went in there to find James, so she wanted to heal James.
Think James needed healing?
He did take a lot of damage.
You think
did.
James needed healing?
That's what everybody told her.
So she went in the woods to help, and then got lost,
Mm-hmm.
and is currently in the process of getting more lost.
Mm-hmm. You know, like you do.
As you do.
Fuck! I'm okay.
Lucas got shot.
Lucas is
I
dead.
kicked a box by accident while I was standing up.
Good.
My pinky toe hurts now.
So, let us start with... Let's start with Nancy.
Oh boy.
Okay.
So, unbeknownst to you, you are currently walking in the exact opposite direction of the Arcwing.
But I don't know this.
You don't
No.
know that.
Mm-mm. I think
And,
it's a perfectly fine way to go.
and right now, as you're continuing to walk past different trees, different, foliage here and there, what do you want to do?
I would like to roll perception to see if I hear or see any signs of James
Okay.
or
roll
danger.
perception.
Or danger.
Okay.
I'm rolling. Give me a second because I'm using the app. Hold on, let me look at my perception bonuses to see if this makes it any better.
You are surrounded by jaguars.
Oh,
Not the
Nancy, don't do
jaguars.
this to me today. You're already lost in the woods. Please don't. Okay, yeah, that's a 2.
Oh my god.
Total.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah.
So, as you're walking further and further into the woods, you're looking around trying to find James or any signs of danger. And as you keep walking more and more, you think to yourself, oh, I know where I am. These trees are familiar.
Oh, geez. Okay.
Those trees are not familiar, are they?
So Nancy's gonna
they're just
walk a little
trees.
more faster with confidence, like, oh, okay. At least if I can't find James, I know where the Arcwing is. I'm fine.
George
So
just
she's
walks
walking
up.
with happiness.
George just walks up to Vlad. Hey, you find Nancy on your fifth play? Oh, yeah, sure, I'll just pull her up. Why is she in Massachusetts?
How'd she get to Vegas?
Oh my god.
She finally meets Odette.
I mean,
Yeah, no,
unless it
Odette's not
takes-
over there yet.
No, unless
Oh,
it takes
yeah,
Nancy
timeline-wise,
20
no.
years. Nancy just walks up to Craze, just sitting in a lounge chair, and looks at her. You're not the right person. Go home. Just throws a newspaper at her. She reappears in the forest.
Come on, get it! No!
So,
why
To me,
am I
that
buying?
she didn't even bring truffles with her. She
Yeah,
left
well-
with scientist.
yeah,
Oh.
you left Truffles up in the Arcwing.
I wanted him to be safe.
You're the one thing that probably could have helped you find home.
Well, I can guarantee you Truffles is safe.
Mhm.
You, however,
Mm-mm.
as you are walking,
I'm in danger.
as you're walking with full confidence that you know exactly where you are and you're not lost.
I'm fine.
Where you think the opening to where you would see the Arcwing is, the ground in your feet is starting to slosh a little more as each foot put into the ground sinks in a little bit, and it's starting to get a little muddy and marshy.
Probably just the rain.
So you're gonna keep going?
I'm gonna try and see if I can go around it. Like, can I avoid it somehow?
From what you can tell, right now the ground is just starting to turn from just regular dirt into mud. You don't know how far out it expands, but looking left and looking right, it looks like you're just starting to come into an entire area that's essentially just a marsh.
Okay. I'm gonna, give me a second.
If you see anyone sitting on a rocking chair playing a banjo, run.
Okay.
Yeehaw.
You sure do got a purty mouth.
You got a purty mouth, girl.
Oh my god.
To the family.
Two completely different, horrifying references to box.
Yep.
One of them is rape, the other is violence.
I'm gonna take
Isn't
my
rape
rope.
violence?
No, the other one is just pure violence.
I would like to take my rope
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
and try to make it so it could help me swing over all the mud and stuff.
Rolls of that wood accidentally makes a noose.
Okay. So you want to try and swing over the mud.
Yeah.
Okay. Roll intelligence.
Okay. Give me 1 second.
Rolls a nat 20. This is impossible. Like you're halfway through making the rope and you realize this won't work.
That's a 13 total?
13? Okay. Looking ahead of you, and then looking at the nearby trees, some of which are dead, decaying, cracked, you do find a few trees that seem sturdy enough to hold your weight, plus the swinging of a rope. So, you tie the rope up pretty well. You give it a few tugs just to make sure that it's still in a knot and tight. You're satisfied with what you got, and you think with a running start, you can jump over all of the mud.
I'm gonna do it.
Okay,
Do I roll agility?
sure. Roll agility.
Hold on a second.
Maybe your mediocre intelligence check can be outdone by a stellar agility roll.
I mean, I have agility is my highest bonus. So I'm hoping. Okay, so that's a 14 plus 4 is 18.
Okay. So, with all of the confidence in the world, you
Yeah.
hold the rope, walk back a few feet, enough to where it's starting to give a little tug. You sprint as fast as you've ever sprinted before, jump into the air, and swing with the rope. You go almost exactly 18 feet. And as you get to the apex of your swing, you let go thinking, oh, I got this. And you land, and you start sinking into the mud a little.
Now, I've seen enough survival shows to know what to do in this situation.
It's not quicksand.
Like, is it?
I don't think
John?
Uh-huh.
Question.
Yeah.
From what I can tell, how deep is this mud?
It's mud. It's
From
the dirt.
where you are right now, I would say if you were standing straight up, it would cover your feet.
Oh, okay, we're fine. We're fine. Okay, I'm gonna come to a stand. and continue
John.
walking.
Different question.
Uh-huh.
Should I just copy and paste a blank sheet onto the TTRPG docs page or no?
I mean, give it a few minutes. So, with new mud covering your ass and your legs, as you get up, you have mud on your hands now. You are heavily muddy. You're just gonna keep walking?
Yeah.
Okay. As you walk, you...
Perception, see if I see the peoples yet, though. If
Okay.
I may.
Roll
Alright.
perception.
Rolling more perceptions. Hopefully it's not a fucking 2. John's secretly hoping it's a fucking 1.
I was about to make that joke, except I was going to say he was
Well, he
hoping
got
for
his
it.
wish, so happy birthday!
Is it a 1?
Is it really a 1?
It's a fucking 1!
Oh my god.
This is going well.
Okay.
So, John, I reiterate my question from a minute ago.
I told you, give it a minute. Nancy,
Yeah.
as you are beginning to get further and further into swampland, as you're trying to listen, trying to hear any shouts of anyone, your thoughts are interrupted by the constant as you're trudging through the mud.
And and all around you, you slowly hear rising in volume. Crab people.
Can she just roll like a nat 20 luck to escape this? And Behemoth just walks over and waiters, pulls her out of the swamp, tosses her back on land, and just wanders off into the woods.
Thank you, tall strange man!
Nancy.
Stop!
Hello. I'm in a phone call. That was a noise I made.
Nancy,
Please?
as you were walking and trying to hear over the sounds of your own sloshing, you hear branches break.
Oh no.
What direction?
All of them.
Make a perception roll.
Because, I'm doing great with perception.
Nat 20. You see the Reaper.
That's a 15.
It's not
15.
terrible.
Okay. As you hear the branches breaking, are you continuing to walk or are you stopping?
I'm stopping because I want to look around and see where
Okay.
the fuck is happening.
As soon as you stop, you hear a few more branches break. You're trying to get a gauge. You're looking left, right, in front of you, and back of you. Until it dawns on you. Those branches breaking are coming from above you.
I would like to roll agility, pretty please.
What would you like to do?
I would like to roll in front of me to avoid said branches.
Well, the branches are not falling down on top of you. You just hear branches breaking, and the sound is coming above you.
I would still like to get out of the way.
Okay.
Wait, they're not falling down? They're just
No.
cracking
They're
up
just...
above me?
Yes.
Okay. I would like to see if they're, if so, what is breaking them.
Okay. Roll another perception.
That's a natural 19.
Okay. As you're looking up, trying to find out just what is making those noises, you think for a split second you see a very fast blur go from one tree top to another. And as you're staring at where this blur went, you see ever so slowly a very sickly pale white hand grab at the tree and you see, just for a split second, a head poke out, looking at you, and then hide back behind the tree. From what you gathered, whatever was just looking at you is very, very sickly whitish gray. The nails on its hand were almost claws at this point, and its entire head is a little narrow. It doesn't exactly have a snout, but its mouth is very prominent. Its eyes, from what you saw in that split second, it didn't really have eyes, just two sunken holes where its eyes would be.
This all sounds very encouraging.
I'm gonna keep walking forward, but away from said thing, very
Okay.
slowly, trying not to slosh too much.
Okay. So, as you're walking slowly, doing your best basically to not lift your feet out of the mud, you're kind of just sliding your feet on the ground. You're
Shuffle,
making
shuffle.
a lot less noise than what you were before. As you're walking, and are you still going the same way you think the Arcwing is?
Yes.
Okay. As you're walking, it is very clearly getting a little more swampy. A lot of the trees are sticking into the mud. Some of them have fallen over, and there's just mud everywhere. You hear whatever that thing was is very clearly following you.
I turn to see if the thing is looking at me currently.
Okay. Make a perception roll.
13?
13. Okay. As you
Very
are stopping, as you do continue to hear it following you, branches are breaking, seemingly getting closer and farther. You turn around to where you last heard a branch breaking, and you're looking up into the treetops and you don't see anything. However, what you hear is coming from an entirely different tree, somewhere where you didn't think it was. Like, you thought it was coming from your left, you thought it was in one of the trees on your left, and you hear from almost 180 behind you.
Slowly turn my head to the thing.
Okay. As you turn around, and you're looking up into the trees, nothing there.
Okay. At this point, give me 1 second.
Mhm.
Because I almost said, Nancy gets out her lupus blade, but then I was like,
Yeah.
nope.
Yeah.
Wrong character.
Wrong character. Yeah.
Oh, well, Nancy still has a machete. But I think Nancy's gonna take out the laser pistol that has the extended mag accelerated thing, which is a +2. So
Okay.
she's taking that out and just kind of walking with caution, being very paranoid at this point, but still trying to make her way
Making our way
to what she
downtown.
thinks is the Artwing.
Okay.
God.
As you are continuing on your way, being very vigilant as to where this creature is, you get further and further into the swamp, to the point where right now it's getting about halfway up your leg. Not quite to your knees yet, but just it's getting higher. You see, off in the very distance, almost about another At your pace, almost about another 2 to 3 minute walk, there is a single broken down shack just in the middle of the swamp.
I think it's at this point Nancy is kind of realizing, okay, maybe this wasn't the way to go.
I think that's fair. I think at this point it should at least be starting to dawn on Nancy that perhaps she took a wrong turn in Albuquerque.
But seeing no better options to get directions, you make towards the shack begrudgingly.
So, you're going to make your way towards the shack?
Yee.
Okay. As you make the 2 to 3 minute journey towards the shack, still continuing to hear the noises from around you. Once you get close enough to the shack where you can actually lift your legs out of the mud and step on the deck of this shack is seemingly just resting on top of the mud. A little bit is getting onto the shack, but not much. The windows are completely boarded up. The single door in front of it is boarded up, and there is a very broken rocking chair right next to the door.
Okay. Now Nancy doesn't have a Pip-Boy.
Mm-hmm. No, you do not.
Nancy is the one with the Pip-Boy.
Wait,
What?
she's the one with. Oh my God! You could have
known
looked
this
at
to
a
begin
map.
with.
You
I
had
had
a
every-
map.
I had a map this entire time.
Yep.
Fucking okay. I
Maybe.
turn on the
Just
Pip-Boy.
maybe. If you checked your damn character sheet,
You would see
we
in
wouldn't
the
be in
buffs.
this.
In my defense, it's moved around a lot.
It's been with you for a long time.
Has it though?
Oh, you know what? I think it has. I think Vlad gave it to you a while ago, but I also forgot, so I'm not
Wait,
mad
she
at
still
you.
has it from when Vlad gave it to her?
Yeah, he gave it back.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah.
You gave it to, I believe, Lucas for a while, and then
Yeah,
he just gave it back.
He had it. Okay.
Yeah, he gave it
I'm
back.
taking up my map.
Okay.
Oh boy.
So you load up the Pip-Boy. The whole area, which is now very slowly starting to get pretty dark, because the fight was roughly around like 8, 9 o'clock at night.
Oh my God, she's lost in the swamp in the dark.
It's now,
Oh my God.
I would say, close to like 11:30.
Mm.
So the area is now lit up with a very dull green glow from the Pip-Boy.
Mm.
And you're going to scroll over to the map?
Yeah.
Okay. From where you are, looking at the map, you don't really recognize where you are right now. When you zoom out the map a little bit, you do see the area where the Archwing is. And even though it didn't feel like it, it looks like you've traveled about an hour and a half away from the Archwing.
Now, I have a question because I don't play the Fallout games. Does the Pip-Boy, like, record voices and send shit? Like,
If you
could
have a
I call...
holotape, it can.
Yeah, that's the thing. You need a basically a cassette tape.
Can I, like... Is there any way I can message anybody with the Pip-Boy?
The Pip-Boy itself doesn't really have any communication capabilities. It can receive transmissions and it can send out signals, but you
Okay.
can't send out like a voice call.
I would like to send out a signal, police.
Okay. You scroll over to where all of your radio stations are, and you just flip a switch, and as far as you know, the Pip-Boy is sending a distress signal.
Okay. Having that been done, and seeing that it is 11:30, Nancy is gonna knock on the door of the shed.
Okay. As you knock on the door, again, the door itself is completely boarded up. The windows are boarded up.
She don't know if there's some hobo in there or not. She don't know.
Yeah. As you knock on it, and you listen for a second, there doesn't seem to be movement inside. There doesn't sound like there's movement inside.
All right. I'm kicking down. Well, it's boarded up. I'm gonna ply off the wood, or at least one, and then try to get inside.
Are you going to do that with your hands?
I'm gonna use my machete as leverage.
Okay. I will allow the +2 of the machete to go towards your agility. So
Oh,
roll
cool.
agility to try to pry one of the 3 boards that are on the door off.
16 plus my 4. Would I use my own agility bonus
You would
as well?
use your own agility bonus plus the machete.
Then it's a 22.
Okay. With relative ease, you're able to pop off the nails that are holding the board in place, and one of the 3 boards falls off.
Cool.
As it clatters to the ground, you hear from above you,
I take the wood
Uh-huh.
and I chuck it as far as I can to distract said thing.
Oh, that's
Make a
either going
strength
to be
check.
a really good idea or a really bad idea. And I'm hoping it's a good one, because they might be blind.
make a strength check.
Hold on. I didn't roll too good.
Oh no. It just lands directly at your feet. Yeah!
That's a 6.
6?
Okay. It's
Okay.
not horrible.
As you
Bad.
as you pick up the board to throw it, it's a lot heavier than you initially thought it would be. So you have to use both hands to pick it up, and you huck it as hard as you can. It goes a little ways away from you, but still close enough to where you can still, even in the low light, see where it landed. As it makes this squelching sound into the mud, all you hear is
I hate
followed
that
by
noise.
this same pale white creature that has been following you, jumping down on top of where that board was,
Oh,
and
shit.
it lands directly on top of the board,
Mhm.
and its hands, it is
Mhm.
very white, very lanky. Its hands, you can now see, aren't really hands, they are just filed down bones that are now
It's the same
claws.
creature.
What do you mean?
It's the same creature that we fought in the city.
Arguably.
It's similar.
Either
Well,
that or...
we already know it follows sound. It seems to be blind. It has bone. It has bone instead of hands. It's essentially the, like my assumption currently is that this thing is, for all intents and purposes, the same creature. Probably doesn't look identical, since it both were clearly jury-rigged from corpses or ferals, but the same principles are involved here.
And from what you can see with, again, the low light, but again, it is well within your line of sight. The creature's hands, which are still very clearly fingers, just very filed down all to the bone, to where the skin is basically peeled back, and instead of fingertips, it's just clawed bone. It starts going to town on that wooden board, just ripping into it. You see each one of its muscles are moving as it's going back and forth, each hand one after another. It gets about a good 6 swipes in about the span of maybe 5 seconds.
I would like to kill it, please.
Would you like to shoot at it? You would like to shoot at it?
Well, what if there's more?
Well, the gunshots will alert the others.
Exactly.
So what would you like to do? It is currently, from your current distance, about, I'd say about 8 to 10 feet into the mud.
Can I get into the shed yet?
You have 2 more boards to pry off.
Okay, so I have to pry off all the boards. There's a door behind the boards?
There is a door behind the boards, yes.
Okay. Okay. Nancy's gonna pry off another board, and then after she's done with that, she's gonna chuck that board.
Okay. Roll agility plus the machete.
I don't like the silence.
Oh, hold on, guys. Hello?
Oh, her parents have probably shown up.
Possibly.
Possibly. Also, I am trying the Artificer. He's not terrible. Like, he does a lot of damage. His base attack does 200% weapon damage.
Yeah.
Which I think is the highest of all of them. And it does have a bit of a blast radius even by default, which is helpful. But I don't know. I haven't really gotten stupid powerful, so
Yeah.
you don't really know how good a character is until you become godlike, and then you can really start to think, okay.
So, what is your thought process? Ooh, Jesus. Thought process on what this creature is, both of you.
So first and foremost,
I had a perfect image in my mind of what it looked like earlier, and I could not for the life of me remember where the fuck I envisioned this creature before.
well, like I said, we've fought its kind before.
Well, I know that, but I'm saying, like, this specific creature, I have, like, a very distinct image in my mind of what it looks like. I can't remember where I've seen it.
Hello.
So Dad's gonna pick me up in about 10 to 15 minutes. Then I'm gonna do Easter eggs, and then I should be back in half hour to an hour.
Okay.
Yeet.
So
Depending on how long it takes, I may or may not still be available when you get back.
I mean, you guys can do Lucas and George's perspectives since we're doing Nancy's now.
Oh,
I mean, it feels like... Okay, I was gonna say, it feels like a bit of a... bad time to leave your perspective, but...
So,
Suspense!
what did you roll for agility?
I rolled... Hold on. What did I roll? Because I was in the middle of the roll when Dad freaking called me. Let me see. It was 13 plus 4 plus 2, so 13 plus 6 is 19.
Okay. Very quickly after seeing what this creature did to that plank that you threw earlier, You, as quick as possible, shove your machete behind the board and just start prying it open. After about really 3 to 4 seconds, it was just one swift motion. You slide it in, pop one half out, slide it in, pop the other half out. You're gonna throw the board as hard as possible.
Yeah.
It's amazing what adrenaline can do.
Roll strength.
That's a natural 18.
Oh, thank God.
Okay. As you pick up the board, now knowing how heavy these boards are, you pick it up, and as soon as you swing around to throw it, the creature is right in front of your face.
This motherfucker.
Whack it with the board.
Can I whack it with the board, please, with all this natural
I will allow
18?
you to use that. I will allow you to use the momentum of picking it up to not be able to stop and swing at it. So
Yes, please.
roll.
Am I used-
Roll. Actually, yeah. Roll to attack.
Okay. Oh, God. I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm dead.
What did you roll?
What do you think I rolled?
Oh, tell me it's a nat one. Ah! Can she just throw the board? It's
How it
thrown
ends.
right over its head. Like,
This is how it ends. This is how it fucking ends.
God, why?
So, as you pick up the board, you swing around, and as soon as you're about to throw it, you see this pale, white, lanky creature just directly in front of you, almost nose to nose with you. It's very deep eye sockets. You can see now that there are no eyes in there. They are just hollow sockets.
Beautiful.
Its mouth is just hung open in this wretched decay smell comes wafting out of its mouth. Its teeth are a sickly yellow and very broken, crooked, and just jaggedly sharp.
Honey
as-
needs to go to the spa.
As you swing the board, whether it be the momentary fear, the momentary smell, or the fact that you couldn't stop yourself, the creature raises up one of its arms and simply catches the board and crushes it in its hand. The board snaps in half as you are face to face with this creature. It is standing a good 3 feet above you as it is bending down to look at you. Its mouth again hung open. It begins to tilt its head around to your right side and then tilt its head to to your left side. What would you like to do?
I'd like to shoot it in the fucking mouth.
So, you're going to try to pull up your pistol and shoot at it?
Yes.
Roll agility.
Oh, thank God. Okay. That's a natural 18 plus 4.
Cut your arm off.
Okay. You beat its agility roll. So, as you are looking
For
at
clarity,
this
I
creature,
would like to shoot it with the 2+ gun, the mag extended
okay,
pistol.
and you're specifically shoving it in its mouth.
I'm shooting it in the mouth. Shooting it.
Okay. As the fastest hand in the West, you very quickly pick up your gun from its holster and shove it in its mouth. As soon as you make a sudden motion, this creature, both of its hands, lunge up to where your head is, but you are a second faster than it. As you shove your gun into its mouth, roll for damage.
Oh Lord, Mama. Oh boy. Okay, I can breathe. That's a 17 plus 2 is 19.
Okay. As the gun enters its mouth, just before as you see its hands are coming into your peripheral vision, you pull the trigger, a loud bang echoes throughout the area, and instead of a shriek of what you imagine was anger that came from it, is just one of pain as it stumbles backwards and starts clawing at its mouth, and all you hear from it is as it stumbles backwards off of the deck and just scurries away. What would you like to do?
I'd like
Ripple.
to fly off the last board
I was about to say.
Okay.
and get inside.
Roll agility.
That's the 17 plus 4.
Okay. And then plus the 2.
Oh yeah, plus the 2.
Okay. As you, with almost a numbing feeling at this point, you don't really feel anymore. You're just kind of doing things. Your mind has essentially just shut down for a minute as you very quickly, in the same motion that you pulled up the gun, shot it. As you hear these sounds coming from it and as it stumbles back, you're not even paying attention as you swing around, shove your machete in, pry off one half, shove it in, pry off the other half. You very quickly open the door as you hear sloshing away. You open the door, walk inside, and close the door. Inside this shack, it is pitch black. All windows are completely boarded up, and you can now see that the windows are boarded up from both the outside and the inside. There is no light coming from the windows, and the inside of the door has a single wooden bar that you can pull down to brace the door and essentially lock it, but the door itself doesn't have a lock.
I would like to brace the door, please.
Okay. This is also going off the low light from your Pip-Boy.
I would like to turn on the flashlight of my Pip-Boy, if I may.
Okay. As you turn on the flashlight and in one, again, quick panicked motion, you take the bar of the door and slam it down. As you turn around, you see that there is a relatively intact interior of a shack. There is a pretty small, cramped area, but there is a single table with a single chair. Over in the corner, you see a fully intact banjo. Very
Great.
stereotypical.
Yeah.
On the bed, there is just a single, spring mattress. There's a spring base and then a mattress on top of it. A single blanket, and over in the very corner of the room, huddled in a fetal position, there is just a skeleton holding a rifle.
I was about to say, if this is sealed from both the inside and outside, there's either a secret hatch or a dead body in here.
Oh.
Because someone has to have sealed it from within and not left.
I'm gonna take the pistol from the skeleton. I would like to also examine, the rifle. I'd like to take the rifle.
Okay. As you walk over to the corpse, it does have just regular pants, regular shirt. It seems like it's been here for a while. You don't know whether it was killed by the nuclear blast or by something else, but it is just slumped into the corner in the fetal position, holding the gun. So you really have to kind of pry its hands off, but you do get the rifle from it. It has a single shot loaded in it. It is a bolt-action rifle. On the floor, scattered next to it, there's about 10 rifle bullets that you could take if you want. The body itself has a few cans scattered around it. There's a few bottles of empty water scattered around. It seems like whatever happened to this person, he went into this shack, locked himself in, and was just trying to survive in here.
If he was hiding from the blast, I would assume the radiation killed him. Because this shack would not have protected him from it.
But he had a rifle with him.
I mean, I wouldn't
Why
put
would
it past
you have a
someone
rifle if you were hiding from the nuclear war?
Americans love their guns. Oh, Betsy will protect me from the rats!
I'm gonna put the rifle down, because I've realized my inventory is way too full. And... because I assume this is a medium weapon, John?
This rifle is a medium weapon, yes.
Actually, in that case, I would like to put away my regular old laser pistol and equip this weapon.
Let me see. Do you have... Oh, wow, your inventory is full.
Yeah.
Oh, you have one spot left. So you could put that one pistol in your inventory if you wanted.
Oh, I could? Okay.
Mm-hmm. But now your inventory is just completely full.
Yeah.
As you put the pistol into your bag and pick up the rifle, are you picking up the rounds next to it?
Yeah.
Okay, so in total, you have 11 rifle rounds. And as you pick them up and count them and get them all into your bag, you hear a thump on top of the cabin you're in, and you hear almost like a cat walking on hard wood. You hear nails clicking, walking all over the roof of this cabin.
Making no noise.
How much damage does this rifle do, John? Just so I have it in mind.
The rifle
I'm not
itself...
using it. I'm just asking how much it
Okay.
is so I can put it in the inventory.
The rifle itself does... let me check real quick. +2 to any damage.
Cool. And how many shots do I get in one round? One,
You get
right?
one shot before you have to reload.
Okay. Okie dokie. So now my weaponry is definitely full as well. So when this happens on the roof, I'm being very quiet, very still, not moving, maybe even not breathing, who knows. But yeah, that is what is happening.
Okay. And are you just gonna wait it out?
Yep.
Okay. So, George.
How many hours have I been standing here?
Right now, it's been about half an hour since you sent the person off, and he came back with Lucas, and Lucas called for wherever James was to have a search party, and they went into the woods. About 5 or 10 minutes, well, not really, no, about like 5 minutes after that, Nancy walked in.
Mm-hmm.
So, right now, this is just a little after, because you said after Nancy walked in and after about like 10-15 minutes passed, you were going to walk in.
I think we ended before he actually went in, so I am going to pause and just kind of like think for a moment. Just, we've already been ambushed once. I don't think this is over. And as of right now, George's going to look around, and I'm assuming he kind of realizes that most of the people who were protecting the wall have now wandered into the woods.
A good, I'd say 1/5.
Well, both James and Timothy, to my understanding, are
Timothy
gone
has
now.
not. You have not seen
James
Timothy. Yeah, James has gone
Okay.
into the woods.
Did Nancy die yet?
has. No. Maybe?
No?
I don't know.
Nancy found shelter. You're welcome.
Sort
But
of.
she is essentially trapped inside.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know that. I'm the fastest gun in the West.
Mm-mm.
No, you weren't.
I killed the thingy.
I killed the figure.
No, you didn't.
I will say, John, and you can choose to believe me or not, but Odette is much more effective than Nancy. Like, Marina can play this game well.
Thank you for
It's-
that.
It's just Nancy.
Just Nancy. It's fucking just Nancy.
Like, in
Thank you for
character, Nancy just
telling
doesn't.
John that I can play the game. Matt, do you concur with this?
Oh yeah, you can play. It's just, oh boy, you get so in character with how naive Nancy is. It's hard to tell sometimes.
Like, Odette is probably between the like leader of the party is definitely between Wilson and Odette.
I was gonna say, I would see Wilson as more of like the leader, but Odette has definitely played
I
that
don't
role.
know, because Odette makes more of the decisions, I feel.
Don't both of you have a very limited time?
Yes, sorry. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, George is kind of standing outside the forest and just kind of thinking to himself, yeah, if I leave, the wall is going to be significantly less protected.
It's fine.
Have scientists arrived to look at the corpse?
At this point, there are scientists beginning to essentially just surround this corpse, as they can very clearly not get this corpse inside of the
Oh, yeah.
Arkwing.
Yeah. George is just kind of looking around, like, okay. They've only been gone for maybe a half an hour. I'll just trust their judgment for now, and I'll stay and guard the wall for a bit longer.
Okay.
I say, me as a player knowing full well, it's gonna be much longer.
Oh.
But yeah, for now, George is gonna stay and continue guarding, because that's what he's supposed to be doing.
Isn't
Okay.
it great when you know something the character doesn't, but you have to play as the character anyway?
Yep. That's exactly what's happening.
God, I
So-
wanted to make Nancy turn around.
I mean, I honestly thought you would when you got to a swamp,
Yeah.
but apparently, it's just a swamp. So, you're just gonna stay around with the scientists?
For the most part, yeah. It's less like with the scientists and more just trying to keep guarding the wall is what he's doing.
Well, right now you're not on top of the wall.
Yeah. Well, I don't think he ever was on top of it. I think he was like walking around the
He was
border
on top
of
of it before the behemoth attacked.
Oh, okay. Oh,
When
yeah,
the
that's
behemoth
true.
attacked, you and James jumped down.
Oh, yeah. Either way, yeah, George is just going to be sort of patrolling the wall for a bit longer. He's going to walk around the wall and see if specifically see if anything else happened.
Okay, so you're going back onto the wall then.
Yeah, because he doesn't really know if there were any other attacks along the wall or anything like that.
Okay. Doing a once-over around the wall, you do hear from both the north and south side that there were a few things that were moving in the tree line that they didn't exactly know what they were. And
Okay.
none of them seemed to have shot and killed anything. There wasn't really much gunfire, but there were
Yeah.
things spotted.
Okay. So they definitely were encircling the town.
And oddly enough, the east side was
Mm,
completely quiet.
that is strange. What is east of the Archwing? Do we know?
East of the Archwing, let me pull up the map right quick. Well, off of memory, east of the Archwing is essentially going towards the direction of Old Freedom's Hill.
Okay.
Because you had to go west from Freedom's Hill. There are a few Red Claw outposts that you had cleared along the way.
Hmm.
So there are a bunch of outposts going in the direction of Freedom's Hill.
Okay.
But as far as you know, there's just more forest and just land. There's nothing
Nothing really
really,
there.
yeah, there's nothing really like impactful between here and Freedom's Hill. And now that Freedom's Hill is gone, there's just not much that you know of.
Hmm. George is going to make a note of the fact that nothing came from the east. Or rather, nothing was sighted.
Okay.
But at least for now, he can't really do much with that information. Hmm. So, George is probably going to continue patrolling for a little bit longer.
Okay. As you do another loop, you see the scientists are now beginning to essentially open the rest of the behemoth open.
Hmm.
And when you do another lap, they have gotten the behemoth completely open.
Hmm.
Uh, and George,
Yeah.
for you, this
Hmm.
is a very, very familiar sight to you as you peer down off of the wall into the open corpse of the
Hmm.
behemoth. You are noticing Institute Tech.
Oh. Huh.
This behemoth, for all intents and purposes, was a synth.
Huh. George is gonna jump down and sort of inspect it closer.
Okay.
So he didn't make that correlation when he inspected the ghoul corpse, correct?
No, that was completely different technology. The way that synths are made
Hmm.
are more uniformed and are more really elegant, I would put it.
Yeah.
And when you opened up its skull, you noticed that something was familiar about this, but you couldn't put your finger on it. It took them opening up the whole thing and you seeing the full exoskeleton to where you notice that this has hints of the same elegance that the Institute has. However, when you jump down, you are looking over this corpse really more thoroughly now.
Mm-hmm.
You notice that it seems like someone, rather than the Institute made a super mutant behemoth synth, it seems someone took the technology of the Institute to make this creature. As in some places, the wiring is just all off. It seems like bits and pieces have been added to it to add extra strength or add extra tensile strength, or in the legs especially. It seems like they needed to really add more mass to that to hold up the whole weight of this creature.
Mm.
It seems the base skeleton is Institute. All of the additions and modifications are Institute-like, but different.
Mm.
More clumsy.
So it could still very well be the same person. Does that technology bear any resemblances to the ghoul?
The ghoul, while still an air of elegance to it, it was completely different. In ways to describe it, the ghoul that you performed an autopsy on, that the woman with the robo-dogs took from you, that creature had more of... Yeah, I guess the best way to describe it would be that creature was a PC, and anything Institute made is Apple.
Okay, so there's a very clear difference. Even with the clumsiness of the additions on the behemoth, it's still higher quality than the ghoul.
Yes.
So George is going to look this whole thing over, and he's going to kind of turn to the nearest scientist. Do any of you know anything about Institute Tech?
The ones that are not essentially just drooling at the mouth at this thing turns to you, and it's a pretty young guy. He looks over to you. No, we've never seen anything like this.
Well, coming from an expert, this is at least in large part Institute technology. And he's going to point to the parts that he can tell are just straight ripped from the Institute. These were made by Institute Tech, there's no question. And then point to the rest. This looks like it was jury-rigged, but using the same principles. Which means to me...
Sorry. Alright, boys and girls. I gotta go do some painting. But I will join you guys later. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Okay.
But yeah, George is going to look at it and look at the science and just say, my assumption right now, whoever built this has some knowledge of the Institute and some of their equipment. Whether they're someone copying or whether they're a survivor, I don't know right now.
He looks between everything that you're saying and is occasionally taking out a notepad from his breast pocket and writing down notes in it. And he looks back to you. Well, whatever this is, it is astounding technology. And really, we need to tell the Elder about this. But we know that Elder James just went into the forest hunting down more of these things, presumably. But I think we can go find Timothy and let him know.
That sounds like a plan. I'm worried we'll be attacked by more. I don't know if you've been alerted, but there were other super mutants who, I'm assuming, are of similar caliber. They appeared to have some sort of cloaking, and for some reason, they were scouting out the town.
He looks a little worried as you say that. Yes, we heard that there were obstacles that needed to be dealt with, but it seems you, in large part, were able to thank for driving them off.
I can only do so much, kid. I'm going to keep watch as best I can, but anything we can glean from this might be the difference between life and death. And if we're fighting the Institute, you're going to need a lot of firepower.
Yes, I have read the report of what happened in the Commonwealth. But nonetheless, I think we should only need roughly about 15-20 minutes, if that, to try and gather what we can, samples if we can, and pieces of this. If you wouldn't mind either looking over us as we do this or going to find Timothy. Either one would help us greatly.
I'm going to keep an eye on you lot. I don't want anyone getting hurt, and I don't trust this quiet right now.
He seems to be put at ease at that. Thank you. Thank you.
No problem. You just do what you need to do. And if you have any questions, I'll do my best to answer them.
Yes. Yes, of course. And we appreciate your help. And he turns
No
around
problem.
and begins looking closer into an arm segment.
All right.
So, you're just going to watch over them for a while?
Yeah, as of right now, George, you just stand and watch,
Okay.
making sure nothing happens.
Make a perception roll.
All right. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. What the hell? Okay. That is a natural 16.
Okay.
I think George. Let's see. What is George's bonus? Let me just find that real quick. Do 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 do. Load faster, please. And George's bonus is nothing. I thought George had a perception bonus. Okay. Yeah, no, it's natural 16.
Okay. So, as you're looking out, as the rain is now starting to let up, you don't really see anything in the tree line. You do see a few paladins coming back from the tree line. Doesn't seem like they've had any corpses or anything in their hands, but some of them are coming back. Still no sign of Lucas or James, but you know. And as you're standing there, really just watching over this group, you feel your head kind of tilt downwards as something lands on top of you, and you hear from above you,
George is going to look up slightly at what he assumes is a bird.
You are correct in assuming that it is a bird, as a bird looks down at you, and in its feet you see there is a almost rock-ish slate with some writing burned into it.
George is gonna just kind of very calmly sort of take it, just not trying to call attention to himself. Just he's gonna pet the bird slightly as he does so.
Okay.
And what does it say?
Are you going to look at it stealthily or just read it?
He's just gonna read it.
Okay.
Like he's just not calling attention to himself. He's just gonna kind of look at it like you would a newspaper. It's like, oh, what is this?
Okay.
I see the Mets one.
Yankees 1-0. Good.
Yeah.
I was imagining George looking at a newspaper and the headline, "Ball boys here to stay."
Oh God, no.
So
I
you
was
look at
gonna
this
say,
slate.
300 years later, and the Yankees still can't lose.
You look at the slate, which is no real bigger than the palm of your hand. Considering that the bird is not that big, can't carry that much. On it isn't much writing, but what you can see says, "Attacked, dealt with."
George kind of nods, and at least for the time being, he's going to. Actually, no. Does George have any means of writing on the slate?
Let me take a look.
Could he like etch with something, or does he have any way of writing a note in reply?
From
Like,
what you have right now, you could either use one of your things of ammo to try and write on it, or you could use your metallic finger to write on it.
That's probably what he's gonna do.
Just use your finger.
Yeah.
Okay. The slate is not that big. You
Mm.
can get maybe 10 words max on it.
Oh. George is just going to, let's see, because I'm gonna try and think, because he's gonna want to try and send this message in as few words as possible. He's just gonna write meet, as in like meet up, with a question mark.
Okay. And that's all
And
you can do?
then hand the slate. Yep, and then sort of give the slate back to the bird.
Okay. The bird looks at you as it's just hopping around on your head. Looks at the slate.
Mm.
It picks it up in its talons and just flies off eastward.
Got it. George now understands why none of them came from the east. And George is found for that he promised to protect the scientists, and he's gonna wait a bit longer.
Okay. So, Lucas.
I was messaging Mom.
You, along with James and a search party of about 5 paladins,
Are dead.
are dead.
All of a
Reroll
sudden,
character.
hear
All
a
dead.
gunshot go off.
Not yet.
Oh boy.
That's still about an hour from now.
Oh yeah, it's true. Yeah.
So,
Where you are.
and that's even if you are close enough to hear it.
Mm.
Oh yeah,
So.
she walked probably at least a couple miles.
She did. And she actually got faster when she started walking with confidence.
Oh yeah.
Oh, was that a buff?
Confident walk.
I mean, when you're
That is-
confident in where you're going, you're a lot less slow and cautious of looking around.
Can we make that a perk? This is like confident stride. Just like, what would you roll? Like, what would the qualification for confident stride be? You have to either crit. You have to either crit succeed or crit fail in a perception check.
I mean,
Either one, and it procs.
but
But
Okay.
you won't know. Oh no, John! I just thought of the rule for that. The player, if they want to roll for that, they don't. You do. So
Uh-huh.
they don't know if they failed or succeeded.
I mean, that could be a hidden buff or debuff.
Oh my god. I almost want to make that a perk. Just like, yeah, confident stride.
I don't know about a perk.
Yeah, I
Buff.
wouldn't really. Yeah, because it wouldn't really be something that I personally would spend points on. I don't think anyone would.
No, not at all.
So,
We could just make that a game mechanic in general.
Lucas, you are staring up at this tree that you have deduced that these super mutants have climbed up into the trees to either hide their tracks or go faster.
Mm-hmm.
As you, James, and 5 other paladins are about 20 minutes into the woods.
Mm-hmm. Fuck it. I'm gonna just kind of look to the paladins. Give me a moment, and I start climbing the tree.
Okay. Roll agility.
Mm-hmm. Drop my die. Different dice it is. Drop that die too. What the fuck, table? 17.
17. Okay. You, not with ease, but with
I've been walking out in the rainstorm. I'm assuming I've gained 5 rads at this point.
You have, yeah. I would say.
Give me a moment. So that would be an 18 then. Also, give me a moment. I've got to get the door.
Okay.
Oh my god. I'm trying to think, if Willie's gone, if there's anything else I need to tell you from the campaign. The party has met Pyro and Frostbite.
Oh, good.
They're grouchy. Well, Pyro's a grouchy son of a bitch. Also, I have some more questions to ask you, because I know we talked about the instructors before, or not necessarily the instructors, but like that whole concept before, and I need to ask you some questions. Specifically, if there's a chance that I could have one appear in my campaign as a particular character.
Do you know what
Specifically, well, I'll just tell you my concept, and hopefully Matt will come back in the middle of me saying it.
I would say just message it to me.
Oh yeah, that makes more sense. Because I specifically want to have one Vegas character be. Let me just. Where are you in here? Scrolling. There we go. Do you remember this character?
Let me see.
Specifically in Vegas, he is a character.
No.
I will find him.
He sits right next to his door.
Who?
Matt does.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why this is taking so long.
So I was putting the shit that was brought to my door in the fridge and then taking a piss.
Oh.
Also, yeah, it was smarter to message John and not say it out loud because my headphones were still in.
Ah, you bastard.
I mute my mic. I don't take them off. They're wireless, remember?
I would say you
Alright.
get about 20 extra from what you've already put. So you're at 250 rads.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm sure the Paladin's Geiger counters are having a fit right now with me walking next to them.
You do see some of them are giving you sideway glances.
Look, it's fine. Focus on the mission.
And so you're going to climb the tree?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Not as graceful as a gazelle, but still pretty well you're able to climb up the tree.
Mm-hmm.
And as you're getting a look on the treetops, you see to your east is the Arcwing.
Mm-hmm.
To your north, there seems to just be more tree lines and more of everything. To your south, there is further onwards a marshland, and to your west, you see just tree line further in, and a little ways in the distance, almost on the horizon, there is a city.
Okay. Would I spatially recognize this city?
Spatially, this is not a city that any of you in the party have been to before.
Okay. I was wondering if I don't know why I even wondered this because I'm pretty sure the one with the ghoul creatures that we fought was a bit further away, but yeah. So yeah, can I just make a general perception check to see if I can spot any movement in the trees?
Sure.
Cool. No, rolled a 2.
You rolled a 2.
Rolled a 2.
Okay. As you're standing up on the treetops, you don't really see anything. You see the clouds are beginning to roll away from everyone, so the rain is starting to let up. But aside from that, you don't really see anything.
Okay. Um. Hmm. So, to the east of us is the Arcwing, right?
Yes.
North is more trees, south is the marshland, and west is the city.
Yes.
Okay. See, I can't use player knowledge here and go to the marshland. The fucking save Nancy's dumbass.
Well, technically, right now, if you went to the marshlands, you would get there before she got there.
Oh, really? No, yeah, because she was faffing about for a bit.
And she was 5 minutes behind you.
Hmm. I don't think either myself or Lucas would assume that the super mutants went that direction, though. I guess try heading west a ways.
Okay. So you're going to just go further west?
We're gonna keep going west for a bit.
Okay. As you are heading west for a little bit, how long would you say you want to travel away from the Arcwing? Because right now you're about 20 minutes away.
I don't think I would want to travel any further than another 15-20 minutes.
Okay. So as you travel about 15 minutes away, uh, not much has been catching your eye. It
Okay.
seems that these creatures, or these super mutants, have used the treetops to really cover their tracks.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. So another 15 minutes go by, or so yeah, the 15-20 minutes go by of walking and still nothing, right? Is what you said. All right. I guess we'll head back east, back to the Arcwing.
Roll perception to see
Shut
if
up.
you remember what direction the Arcwing is.
Look, we've already established I can climb a tree.
Yeah, Nancy did the same thing. She forgot what direction it was.
Yeah, I said, alright, so what direction do you want to go back in? And she said, I'll go west! And, well, here we are. So, Matt, you're going to go east back towards the Arcwing?
Back towards the Arcwing.
Okay.
And so yeah, we're gonna go east back towards the Arcwing. And while we're going that way, back once we get to that point where we kept going west, I guess we can try heading north a bit.
You want to try heading north a little bit?
Just a little bit, like 5-10 minutes.
Okay. So, as you are traveling back to the direction of the Arcwing, you do start teetering off, going at a diagonal angle, going a little bit northeast. So far, still nothing in your immediate area. There are a few wild stags in the forest that whenever you get close enough, they seem to just run off. But aside from a few animals here and there doesn't really seem to be anything in these woods.
Okay. Right. I'm gonna look to James. I'm gonna say to James, so where the fuck do we want to go now? Because we lost their tracks.
He looks over to you and looks around to his paladins. Well, I think it would be a good idea to head back to the Arkwing.
Alright. Then let's do that.
So you're going to head back to the Arkwing?
Head back to the Arkwing.
Okay.
Because Lucas has no idea that Nancy is out there.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that conversation we were having earlier about having player knowledge that our character having would be really beneficial?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, as you travel for about another, about 20 minutes, because you traveled about 15 minutes north, so yeah, 20 minutes back towards the Arkwing. George, this is around the same time that you have jumped down and have been defending the scientists. You do start to see the paladins coming out of the tree line.
Mm.
And I will say, just because I love fucking with you, Lucas, if you would have gone another 20 minutes northward, you would have heard a gunshot. I mean, westward. But, you know. As you break through the tree line and you see that Lucas, you specifically see that the super mutant behemoth has essentially been ripped open. And there are scientists in hazmat suits just like fucking vultures to this thing.
As Lucas approaches, George is just gonna look at him. Ah, you arrived just in time for the barbecue.
Don't we think this meat's a little tough to be eaten? Like, I know we're in the wasteland, but really? We can't do any better?
I figured we put some barbecue sauce on it. It'd be great.
I don't know what you see as barbecue sauce in this day and age, but...
I don't know.
I mean, I guess it can't be worse than MREs, huh? I kind of look to the paladin. Right? Right?
One of the paladins looks to you, and through the modified voice emulator, you hear, "Oh, we just eat steak every day."
Huh.
Oh.
Wow, you Brotherhood boys are real special, ain't ya?
He kind of looks away from you.
Like out of shame, or?
Kind of. He does one of those, he's looking at you, and then slowly turns his head away.
Oh my god.
Like, I'm sorry.
I think George actually looks at Lucas. With James as our leader, are you really surprised that there is no shortage of steak?
I'm honest. I'm more surprised that James hasn't eaten all of it at this point.
A fair point.
And again, James's addiction is a different kind of food that we will not name.
You see, as soon as you say that, a few of the paladins just whirl around and glare at you.
Well, I'm talking about buttered toast.
They're just staring at you right now.
Excuse me?
I said nothing.
George just kind of looked at Lucas like, what?
I said nothing.
I mean, you definitely said words.
They turn back around and continue walking towards the wall.
Oh my god.
So, where the fuck did Nancy go? George, I don't like the silence.
I was kind of hoping that you would have seen her.
Well, I didn't. She came in after us, didn't she?
Yeah.
Why did she do that?
Well, probably because she wanted to make sure you didn't, like, die.
Well, now she... I had... How many paladins were with me?
technically 6, including James.
I had how many paladins with me? Plus James?
Mm. Eh.
George, I would have been fine. Now Nancy's gonna fucking die, isn't she? God damn it!
George kind of looks around. Okay, so the number of guards has increased dramatically. George looks at Lucas. We have 2 things that need to be done. We need to look for Nancy, and someone needs to go talk to our friends over to the east.
You mean the West?
Was
Oh, no. Oh, no, because you know information that Lucas doesn't.
Yeah.
What do you mean, our friends to the east?
A little birdie landed on my shoulder and gave me a note.
Now, are you being figurative or literal?
I'm being literal.
Okay.
A literal bird.
Ah. And that note said...
If you don't know who I'm talking about, then I can't help you.
Oh, yeah. Never mind. It clicked.
So one of us needs to go talk to them, and one of us needs to go look for Nancy.
Well, which one of us? I imagine they're more comfortable around you than they are around me.
Well, seeing as I'm the one who got the message, yeah, probably.
Alright.
It is at this point that a paladin runs over to the top of the wall. Like, one of them that is on the wall leans over and shouts down to you. Hey, you two!
Hey.
Timothy's calling for you up top.
Oh, boy.
We're coming.
He said there was supposed to be 3 of you. Where's the third?
Not here.
She wandered into the woods.
He stares at you for a moment, shakes his head. Alright, well, just the 2 of you then. Get up there. He's calling for you.
Alright, fine.
George makes his way up.
Lucas is following?
I'm following.
Okay. So, you take the time to walk around to the front gate, or are you climbing over?
George is, I guess, gonna walk.
Okay.
I guess I'll walk with George.
Okay. So, you take about the 5-minute walk to walk around to the front of the gate, go inside, walk up the ramp, go up the elevator. And as you get to the Elder's floor, you see James is still outside. He waves you inside. As you get to the top floor, and the Elder's room opens up, Vlad not in there. It's just Timothy. As he's staring out his window, and on top of James's desk, there is, which previously wasn't there, is now a radio hooked up. There's a radio box and one of the speakers and one of the microphones. And he's just looking out the window back to you.
Sir?
Well, I have good news and bad news.
And what's the good news, I guess?
Well, the good news is that we are gonna be getting some reinforcements.
George kinda slumps ever so slightly. Is the bad news that we're getting reinforcements?
He turns around to look at you with a very odd expression on Timothy.
Mm.
It's almost a mix between slight fear and reservation.
Mm.
Well, the bad news is not that we are getting reinforcements. That is always a welcome here. The bad news is that the reinforcements are going to be led by my sister.
Come again.
I can't say I'm surprised.
Well,
And he
you
kind of
see,
looks to Lucas. Oh,
Mm.
sorry. Well, Brotherhood tends to be a familial sort, and, well, look at the Cretans' bloodline. It doesn't surprise me that other Cretances are in leadership positions.
No, I guess not.
They seem like an old blood Brotherhood family. Am I correct, Timothy?
you would be correct in that assumption.
Great. Am I going to be shot on sight?
You, no. If
What
we
about
were
me?
to say, have any super mutant friends here, they would be most definitely treated unkindly.
Mm.
Well, luckily we don't have any right now. Right now.
Yeah, don't know where
Yeah.
that boy went.
Yeah. So, reinforcements are coming, and they're led by your sister. I'm assuming this means more Brotherhood.
Well, more brotherhood, yes. They are led, as I said, by my sister. Her name would be Sandra Credence. And her ship, as you know, ours is the Arkwing. Her
Mm.
ship, the Vindicator,
Mm-hmm.
is almost solely designed for war.
The name kind of implied such.
Yes, she was always a hothead as a child. And he rubs his cheek.
Eh,
Very much
I'm
violent.
I'm sure we'll get along just splendidly.
So what you're saying is she takes after the old man.
She takes all of his bad parts and rolls with the punches, as it were.
Mm. We have some moderately bad news of our own. Nancy has wandered off into the woodlands.
Mm-hmm.
He gives you this blank expression. Come again.
That's what I
She
said.
wanted to go. She wanted to go and give James medical attention. However, when Lucas, James, and the rest of the Paladins came back, she was notably not with them, which means she didn't find them.
He breathes a very long sigh. Oh. Well, that just makes this a little more difficult.
Mm.
As my sister and the Vindicator will be arriving tomorrow morning.
Well, then we'll have to go find her quickly.
Yes, and I may have forgotten to mention that the Arkwing is not flight-worthy.
Oh boy.
I can't imagine it would be. Seeing as, so far as I know, we still don't have fuel.
Yes,
Well, I
we
imagine
are.
that's what all the vertebrates are out doing right now.
Yes, we are trying to refuel as fast as possible.
Well, Lucas and I have two things we need to do. One, we need to retrieve. Two, our mutual friends. We shall politely call them mutants. They're the reason we didn't get attacked from the east.
I see. He looks out
I
the
received
window.
I received a note from them. I was going to go communicate with them before it occurred to me that Nancy had apparently gotten lost.
Well, it seems you have your hands full right now.
When do we not?
Yes, indeed. So, from what I can gather, Nancy is somewhere in the woods towards the west, probably lost out of her mind, and he looks towards you, mutants are to the east.
Yeah. Safe, so far as I know. Their note, well, simple, stated that they were attacked, but that they defended themselves.
Yes, I would imagine. You hear under his breath, you almost feel sorry for them.
I'm assuming you know about the behemoth.
Yes, I was aware that one of them attacked the Arkwing.
I have bad news. For me, incredibly bad news. For you, well, I don't know how bad it is. That's Institute Tech.
He looks to you with a very defeated expression. May we perhaps layer these bits of bad news a little further apart? Maybe next week.
I'm
tell me that
sorry.
it's Institute.
Well, if it wasn't going to be us, I'm sure you would have liked to have known when it was from your men.
I told the scientists as much as I could. That behemoth is a synth.
Well, then I guess I owe my sister 200 caps. You see,
Excuse me?
she, and the reason that the Vindicator is completely designed for war is because New York is under siege. It has...
By super mutants, I'm guessing.
Well, a little... From the reports she gives us at our family gatherings, she tells tale of how New York is much less of a settlement state and more of two warring factions. Her faction of the Brotherhood and what she calls the higher minds. These higher minds are, from her description, hyper-intelligent super mutants who have stolen Institute Tech.
Oh. And George kind of leans against a wall. I don't know if that makes me feel better or worse.
Think of it this way. It's a bunch of geeks who can punch you in the face as hard as James.
You see, I'm not scared of that particular aspect. I'm scared of the fact that they have functioning Institute Tech. Do you know how cheap it is to make a synth? It's surprisingly cheap. It's not that hard to pump out synths.
Considering my sister has to deal with, almost on a daily basis, wave upon wave of almost, for her reports, hundreds of thousands per day. I would imagine it's fairly easy.
So that means they definitely have functioning synth fabricators, and, judging by the hulking corpse outside, they're not limited to creating normal-sized super mutants, seeing as that wasn't just a behemoth, it was a large behemoth.
Yes, the tales of her adventures are not done any justice by me. You may have her explain, but from what I can tell you, these higher minds, as she calls them, they have really begun to get creative with what they can create.
Well, let her know that George Sampson wants to talk to her personally then.
And I believe she would want to talk to everyone personally.
Fair enough.
Oh, she's one of those.
He looks at you confused. One of what?
She's gonna want to have tabs on every single person on this ship, huh?
Well, she much less wants tabs on them and more or less... She could be... And he
Abrasive.
starts fiddling with his thumbs. Well, abrasive is a kind word.
Now, are we talking like me abrasive, or are we talking George abrasive?
George leers.
Well, as much as I don't want to picture this, imagine you, Lucas, George, my father, me, and as much as possible, the worst people you can possibly imagine all had one singular love child.
That is a horrifying orgy to imagine.
But nonetheless,
And somehow she came out of it.
she is very critical with our wastage of our own technology, wastage of how much ammunition we use and our manpower.
Well,
Either way, I guess reinforcements are good. And I'm intrigued to learn about what this Institute tech is really capable of. And George blinks a couple times. Does she know about the teleporter?
He pales a little. She does not. Gentlemen, I'm going to need that to stay that way.
what, you don't want your sister checking up on you every now and then?
Well,
Timothy,
well.
I hate to be... If there's any chance that she has any knowledge of how to get that thing running, we can't pass that up.
George, where does that teleporter lead?
We don't know, and that's the problem.
So you would like to activate a teleporter that
Not
leads
here.
to God knows where?
Not here. But if there's any chance... Okay, let me explain this to you in the easiest terms I can think of. Now, the safest assumption in my mind is that the synth version of your ex-wife was using that to communicate, to deal with someone or something. That must have been her only way to do it. That portal could very well be the only way we find the source of all this chaos. Now, I'm not saying we turn it on here. I'm saying we take it out in the middle of a field somewhere. Send in a SWAT team, and hope to God they come back.
Well, and he walks over and puts his hand on your shoulder. Well, leader of the SWAT team, I do hope
I wouldn't
you
have
make
had it
back
any other
safely.
way.
I don't think he would have had any other choice.
Oh no, I would have been the first one going through.
Yes, well,
Hell, I might be the only one going through.
well, for me to okay turning this teleporter of ours on, I'm going to need you to have a party of at least 10 people.
That's acceptable.
Yep.
I want those people to be as knowledgeable about the Institute as physically possible. If that means I have to teach them, then I'll open up a fucking classroom.
Well, if you want to be a professor, by all means. However, those 10 people, they are up to you to decide who they are, what skills they have. I will not intervene.
I respect that. I'll take time.
Well,
If you'd
considering-
prefer me not... Now,
He
George.
looks over to you.
George pauses and lets him talk. George pauses and lets him talk.
Considering we do have time, as my sister may not know how to turn this thing on, you have until, oh, I don't know, you turn it on yourself, as I'm sure there's no stopping you, to find said team.
I know at least one person I'll bring, or at least try to bring.
And who would that be?
An old friend, who I imagine all I'll need to do to get his attention is wave a flag around for a couple minutes and he'll show up. For all I know, he's sitting in the background, dressed as a... George kind of looks around the room. For all I know, he's hidden in the corner of the room, disguised as a ficus.
Timothy looks at you, peels his face off a little. You see Deacon.
Yep. Oh my god.
The real Timothy walks in. What the hell?
What the hell is going on?
But yes, I only know of one other expert on Institute technology, and he tends to just be wherever he needs to be at any given time.
He's your Maxwell.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Deacon is canonically some form of supernatural being. I really wouldn't. Because
Well,
even like the heart-wrenching backstory he gives you in game does not chronologically make sense.
Hmm?
Because he only looks like he's maybe in his 30s, and it sounds like he's been alive for at least 70 years.
yeah. Well, what do you need to contact this person?
Well, he's already been in the settlement at least once. I honestly have no idea where he is currently, and he has a tendency of just appearing whenever I need him.
The last time you saw him was in the Commonwealth.
Well, yeah, but he was in the settlement at one point.
Yeah.
So George is... Yeah. George does kind of look at him. It is likely that he's currently in the Commonwealth, but I do have a frequency to contact him. So that'll be my first venue.
Well, whatever you can do, form that team, and we will go from there.
Fair enough. Any other information you have for us?
Well, aside from our mutant friends in the East, Nancy, for all intents and purposes, MIA, my sister coming to, in kind words, tear me a new one. My father, in no way, shape, or form, is going to be allowed to interact with her. And this
Good.
teleporter business, as well as the business of us being attacked, well, and he walks over to the desk, sits down, and it seems like he hasn't sat down in a while as he just stares at the ceiling. Gentlemen, and he looks over at you. I believe this is the beginning of us getting, as the youngins curtly say, fucked.
You mean that didn't start before?
Yeah, when were we not in the process of getting fucked?
Have we not forgotten that I was driven to suicide like 2 weeks ago?
He's not wrong.
Well, you see, I believed we would be able to deal with whatever we could, and if not, we could use the Arkwing to get us out of any sticky situations. However,
But we're grounded.
we are grounded. We are very clearly known to be in this locale by, as she states, the higher minds know. Your friends in the East, be they friend or foe, know. These presumably invisible creatures also know. And it has been made very apparent that rad storms open up a very gaping hole in our defenses.
Nah, it's fine. You just need a couple more people like me.
Yes.
Don't worry, we'll start exposing your people to radiation right away.
Yep. First thing in the morning, radiation treatment.
Yes, wonderful. Now, as everyone is having their own version of chemotherapy, I would like to put the decline on that notion.
Hey!
Oh, you sure? What could be better than a couple of super soldiers that can throw reaver balls?
Hey, listen, if you can find some ghouls willing to join the Brotherhood of Steel, by all means.
I mean, you managed to recruit a one. He's fucking amazing.
He's not wrong.
Well, I do what I can with what I've got, and apparently what I have got is failing as of late.
Well, we aren't
That's
dead.
it.
And coming from someone who's lost everything multiple times, being not dead is about as close to success as you can get some days.
He's also not wrong.
Right now, and you're the leader here, not me, but my suggestion would be we focus on defense. Because we can't go anywhere right now, and even if we could, we know they can follow us. So, fleeing is not a long-term solution. We need to start planning to defend and inevitably fight back.
Well, for starters, we do have our vertibirds out, filling up those tankards, bringing them back, and rinse and repeat for a while. It is
Good.
about a full day job to get one of those tankards full, and we need a few of them.
Yeah.
But aside from that, now that they have already made the trip once or twice, I believe it was twice to be exact, and you see a big red button on the elder desk that was covered up by a box. I have the ability to activate our automatic defense system, should the need arise.
That would be helpful.
Mainly, the gigantic cannons that wiped out Freedom's Hill. And for a moment you see just the tiniest bit of sadness in his voice. Well,
Is that what did it?
they are operational once again for at least a volley. They drain their reserves.
I mean, one volley is still something.
In case we at least fighting behemoths in hand-to-hand combat is...
What?
George said, fighting behemoths in hand-to-hand combat is not something I'd recommend.
Gee,
Yes.
you think?
Yes, well, considering that my father, who is the strongest man I know to exist, got thrown around like a rag doll.
I'm not gonna lie.
That sounds...
did...
No offense,
Okay.
Timothy, but that sounds kind of funny.
Yes, I will not lie that I chuckled a bit. However, that still proves the danger of these synthetic creatures.
Yes, as I can attest. Well, synths tend to be, well, depending on the synth, tend to be, but also tend to be, if they're made correctly, just as dangerous as their more organic counterparts. And that behemoth, that was a custom order.
Yes.
I wonder if they come in. I wonder if they come in red. Who knows?
Oh God, no.
So, small side note, because this thought's been in my head for a while now. I'm currently doing this session as basically Fallout Full Metal Alchemist, where George and Lucas are the Elric brothers. You can figure out who.
Oh my God.
One of them's a smarmy jackass, and the other one is Al.
We're both smarmy jackasses, though. That's the problem.
Yeah, but you're less of a smarmy jackass.
Am I?
You are. Not by much, but you are.
Mm.
He looks to you.
Alright.
Well, regardless, you have a lot on your plate, and so far as to say, I would say we need probably to contact those mutants in the east. You're gonna have to go find Nancy at some point. She's lost. And, well...
She had Pip-Boy, didn't she?
She has a map, yes.
Alright. Where's... Just on the off chance she is using it right now. Timothy, what floor of the Arkwing has the radios in the comm system?
Well, the comm system is in the floor directly below us. I like to know information as soon as possible.
Mm-hmm. Alright. Again, on the off chance she's actually bothering to use the damn thing, I'm gonna head down there and wait to see if anything pops up.
Very well. And George, what will you be doing?
Well, I was going to try and talk to the mutants.
Would you like any backup in that endeavor, or is this a solo op?
They'll probably be more comfortable if it's just me.
Very well. When you get your party reassembled and you've talked to these mutants, come and find me.
Will do.
So you're gonna leave?
Yep.
Okay. Let's see. Do you want to do your thing, George, or do you want to go to Lucas?
Probably go to
I'm
Lucas.
literally just gonna be in the comms, looking for radar pings.
Yeah.
Not pings, but you know what I'm looking for, John. My bit doesn't need to be done.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually think I kind of need to get going.
Okay.
So. Alright. I'll talk to you guys later. Good session.
Okay. Well,
Bye-bye, Bobby.
I wouldn't say good,
Yeah.
but
Adios.
I mean,
Oh,
there was
yeah.
RP. There was RP, there was exposition.
there was Nancy trapped in a cabin in the swamp.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, I need to go help someone. I'll talk to you guys later.
Will I see you tomorrow, Bubby?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Don't answer me.
So, I will say, for now, that's where we end it.
Yep.